Prof, do you only come alive at night, or like I never fucking see you in the afternoon?
Well, I mean, I've only been around for a couple days.
You're
Anyway,
right.
what is up, everybody? This is Stage 1 Discipline profGRob of the Insurgent Ascension Program, and I am bringing to you Major Bubleman 78 and Sergeant Rush Rogue here for another Prof cast, the first one I've held in months. What is up, guys? What are you up to tonight?
Well, right now I'm just studying my midterm. I've been staying up since like I've been doing this shit for 5 hours, 43 minutes, and 14 seconds as long as I've been on this team speak and laughing with Rush Rogue about how corrupt I am and I mean great of a person I am in
Yeah,
Surge.
that
You
sounds
didn't hear
great.
that.
How about you, Bubble? What you got going on today?
Wait a second, what?
What have you
You
been
just
doing today, Bubble Man?
you just asked me. That was me that was talking.
Oh, I'm sorry, dude. I can't tell your voices apart. Rush Rogue, what's up?
I want to fucking die.
Well, okay, so that's not appropriate for
That's not
Profcast.
kid friendly. That's not advertiser
I
friendly.
don't give a shit. It is advertising friendly.
No, dude. Unless you're advertising for like the suicide hotline, you're not Gucci right now.
All right, then let's do that.
Bro,
Have
that
either of
has
you
me
ever talked
thinking.
to the suicide hotline?
We were making a
No.
joke about we were making a joke about posting it on the off-duty chat. The suicide is painless video
Suicide is
in
painless.
lieu of our Depression Awareness Week. Uh,
Yes, I heard that after I left, you had a depression awareness week, right?
well, not
Not
exactly, but
really.
a lot of Surge members decided to come out and talk about depression and how it affects modern society and how it's an undermined illness.
Look, we're
Especially
all
the
on the
Imperator
internet,
talking
so I
about it.
imagine we're all depressed, right?
Oh, right now I'm fine. I've been fine for a little while, but I've went through depression. It sucks. it's it's something different. It's not something you can ever explain unless you go through it.
Yeah, I think it's like unique to everybody.
And it can all spark in different ways. You can go talk about losing friends, drugs, any way you want to talk about it.
Yeah, I think depression can't be defined so much as the feeling itself and more of the effect that it has on you as a person. Like if you can't even get out of bed because of your psyche, then you're depressed.
Oh yeah, I've had times like that where I just I'll get home, come home from college, study, and then sit in bed for the rest of the day because none of my friends want to call me, and I don't want to call any of my friends. And that was the other thing. I had friends, but I just didn't call them, and I would always talk about how like I got like, paranoid too. That was the biggest thing. So I had the biggest cloud of paranoia that would cover me. And whenever I wanted to do something, I would be hold on, I just got booked the video. Yeah, but then whenever I wanted to do something, I would feel like I would feel scared. That shit was crazy. Depression's not a thing. I mean, you could joke about anything, but if you're like thinking someone seriously about it, um, yeah, then you want to like keep serious with them because a lot of people actually need that person to guide them and get them out of their depression.
Yeah, everybody needs just like one person.
I mean, that one person can also lead you down even a worse road, though. Like, someone could quote unquote lead you out of depression, but lead you. Fuck. I'm sorry, I'm watching this video.
Is it
So
Uganda Knuckles?
yeah, but yeah, someone that is supposed to take you out of depression can put you in even a worse depression because they're not that good of a friend. Well, some people take advantage of a depressed person.
Hey, Bubble, say nothing if you're
Hey,
good.
Prof, did you hear that the new academy is named after you?
Yes, I did. He
Oh,
told me
Yeah, the
yeah.
himself.
Dario.
Darion Academy. That's supposed to be like
Dario.
the newest biggest thing for Surge.
Yeah, just like
Yeah.
the city, right?
Yeah, it's the new
Yeah,
academy
what happened
city.
to Malta City, bro?
I remember playing around when it was in beta, like
Really? It was in
not even
beta?
fully finished. Just Marshall and I shooting each other with
Oh, man.
fucking dumbass free model guns.
I
What's up,
feel like if
Bubble?
You're still doing the profcast thing, right? I feel like
Yeah,
if
we're doing the profcast.
I feel like if I say too much, like someone's gonna watch this video and fucking expose me.
that's
I don't
that's
want to say too much, but to keep it on the down low for myself.
yeah, try
Uh,
to restrain yourself. I can edit anything out if necessary. I mean, it's so easy for me. I could even edit this out if you want.
well, actually, funny thing about editing is I used to edit in high school. I used to do what was it? I used to do videos for my school. It was digital media videos. I have a whole bunch. I was gonna upload them all to like the Surge chat or whatever, the off duty or on duty, whatever. But I never got around to it. But they're funny as hell. And it's like it's me in high school. Like I would like dress like shit. I looked like a little kid. I was like fat and chubby, so all the videos are funny as fuck. And then, like you can see like me changing throughout the years in the videos. It's so weird. Because like one video I have glasses, and then the next like I have my hair slicked up and I don't have glasses, and like I'm 20 pounds lighter, and it's so weird. And I have like muscles out of nowhere. It's just from like working out and time change.
Yeah, dude, holy shit though. Have you gone a long time without exercising? And like have you ever seen just the drastic drop in like strength that you have? I used to fucking be like doing Arnold presses with 70-pound dumbbells, and I've got this 35-pound dumbbell, and about a month or two ago I tried to lift it and I realized I can't even lift this fucking thing. I'm so fucking weak. I probably wouldn't even win a fight with a random person. I need to get lifting again. And so I started doing stretches and cardio every morning and trying to get some good weights to lift. I've got plates in the garage, but I don't really have any good dumbbells. Just got some like 8 pounds and 5 pounds to combine with my stretches and cardio.
Yeah, I've had times where I would go like not. There were times where I'd go like a week without working out sometimes, and then that would be a little drastic. But once I got depressed, that's when I was like 2 months. I just didn't 2 months, probably even almost three. I just stopped working out completely, and then after a while, I realized I'm like I got to work out again. I try to go back to the gym and lift what I used to lift. That I wasn't even close. I didn't get near like I would curl 40s and then I would be all the way down to 30s again. It
And
was
you
a
know, when I
drastic
was
drop.
strong, like when I mentioned doing Arnold presses with 65-pound dumbbells, when I was strong like that, and I was working out with people who were even weaker than I am right now after not having lifted for a long time, and I'm like, "Come on, dude, you can do it." Anyway, when they're like, "Dude, I'm not strong like you." A thing I realize is whenever I'm good at something, I don't really think of myself as good. I think of whatever normal is always a step above whatever I'm at the time. And I think that's like an interesting thing to think about, like your perception of yourself and how if you're a person who always expects yourself to be bad, then your idea for what's normal will always be rising. You know what I mean?
I mean, if you want to talk about expectations, I can give you a good one. When I was Supreme General and we were just boosting our activity and getting more wins finally stacked on top of each other finally.
Yeah.
Um I'm going along. I'm boosting the activity. We would get 20 to an event, and I would be like, all right, we need 25, or we need more. We need more, more, more. Eventually, we hit like 30, and I'm like, all right, we need to hit 35. But this still happens today. It's a problem. It's a problem that the high comp faces. Me and Marshall have it still, and it's where we'll get a. I opened up art just to start recruiting more people into Surge, but you go to 50 members, and all of a sudden you're looking at the activity, and you're like, we're not that active, and you think a normal person would think you're going insane because most groups struggle to get in the double digits sometimes. But we would rally like 50. We got a 58-man rally after Surge pretty much died, and it was destined to crash again.
Wait,
and
did
become
Surge
inactive.
die at all after I left?
No, Surge went inactive. It wasn't inactive, but it got pretty bad at points. There would be points where
I
we would
still
go
feel
to
bad
training.
about that.
Yeah, bro. I mean, it's not
Keep
like I'm
going.
gonna stay here forever. So everyone's got to go. It just matters on what impact you can make during the time that you are here. But when
I didn't
Surge
do
was
shit.
dying, I was like, oh shit! I'm like, we got to come back. So I'm trying to boost members, and we get to 58, and I'm like, I wish we got 60. You wouldn't believe it, and this would keep going. we get the ISA rally of 85 people, and I text Marshall. I'm like, bro,
Wait,
why did
holy
we?
shit, 85 people in
Yeah,
one
it was the
server.
biggest. It was the biggest rally under the Imperator.
Yeah, I only hear about rallies like that for Fear and fucking Back.
Yep, that was the biggest rally. It was during our CSP war. 85 people. It was under Sivak. Under Marshall was the commander at the time, and Sivak was the second in command. I was nowhere to be found in this picture. I was just a
Yeah,
regular
before
line.
Sivak tucked him.
Oh yeah, Sivak's piece of shit. I hope this. I hope he sees this video. But
Hey. Okay, you can talk now.
yeah. So after that, but I would text the Imperator after that, and I was like, I'm like, we hit 85. I'm like, but we didn't hit that 100 mark that we always wanted to get. And you watch this trend of just pure competitiveness to always become better and better. And this happened when I was getting war wins too. We beat RSF and we beat Arcane Insurgency. I'm like, all right, we need more. We beat Tad's Cobras, and I thought, okay, Surge is pretty much climbing up the ranks of the clan right now, the ranks of the clan world right now. So we need more wars. So I was starting to go to war with like Bear and Orion Offensive, and we never got around to it. But that's just that competitive aspect of just keep going and like never stop warning people and never stop wanting to get better and better and better. I mean, I can assume you probably had that when you were a high ranker of wherever you've led in the past. Combat assault team, right?
Yeah, dude. I've had a lot of weird relationships between myself and fucking the people above me. Did I ever tell you about that time when I was essentially given free ownership of a group that had like a shit ton of people in it? Like it had a big reputation. Have you ever been involved in the Colonial Era groups?
Oh god. Yeah, I have actually. I have a little bit of experience with them.
Have you heard of TGOE?
You got me there.
Okay, the Great Ottoman Empire, the Grand Ottoman Empire, whatever. It was run by a couple guys, Sultan Abdülmecid I and Mahmud II. And long story short, those accounts were exchanged between multiple people. And one day, after having worked with those people for a long time, one guy, whose name is Nick, he gives me the group, and he's like, okay, you basically run the group. You're not the Sultan being the owner rank of the group. I'm still the Sultan, but I'm essentially putting you in second in command. I was basically you. I was basically how you were for Marshall. I did all of the management, with one exception. He had some people that he liked, and so no matter what I want, no matter like how they acted, I could never get rid of certain people because of their reputation. Have you ever had to deal with that, where you can't touch someone who's your subordinate because of their reputation?
Yeah, there's been untouchables, especially talking back, predating before even the Reform era.
What did you do in those situations?
Well, me being the outgoing, I don't really get control taken of me, so I would complain. I would like kick them from every event or just stop them or whatever. But
Okay.
at times you'd have to listen, though. At times you would have to actually listen and let them come to events.
So I was doing a great job with this group, organizing it, making all these documents, and trying some experimental ways of running a group, like having your position in the high ranks be determined by competition with other high ranks, and having medium ranks become high ranks by competing with an existing high rank for their rank, Have you ever considered that?
I've had a whole bunch of policies. I normally based my whole system, and it's still based on it today. A lot of what we do is based on my old morals, but it's based on the loyalty system. However long whatever contributions you've made in the past can still count to what you can be promoted till today. So for example, you were already a colonel, I was already Supreme General. So moving up was a lot easier for me and you because we have past, ties with this group compared to if somebody were to just come in and, they would still exhibit the same skills as us, but they would still have to prove themselves because they haven't gone through what we went through. So a lot of it's based off the loyalty, but even Surge today is changing to make everything different with the promotion system.
Yeah, what's the new promotion system like?
Well, right now it's law obedience, loyalty, and there's one other one. And
Activity,
I
ain't
can't
it?
remember the other one. Activity, that's it. Loyalty, activity, and law obedience.
Shit,
Especially
man, you remember back when I used to patrol for more than 24 hours at a time?
Oh yeah, I remember that.
when was this? Where we're
That
in
was
Surge?
when the old, I mean, not Malta, but like the Imperial Horizon Recruitment Center.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I was kind of retired during then, so I remember. Yeah, you did come around.
Okay,
'cause,
I was
they-
basically the main recruiter for IAP. I would get like sometimes 10 people in a single day, and I would be there all day, every day. And anyone who would come, like 1 out of 3 times, I would recruit them and get them into Surge. And so a vast majority of people who joined IAP during that time know my name because I hand helped them. I had to, dude, before I made the video helping people get into IAP, you know what we used to have to do? There was like stupid fucking retarded Roblox censorship, and we couldn't share
I like how
the
you
IP
said
address.
all the bad words right as you were talking about censorship.
Oh wait,
But continue.
wait, what happened?
I said I like how you said a bunch of bad words as you're talking about censorship.
Stupid, fucking, gay, retarded. Use the hard N word. Censorship,
Edit
yeah.
that part out.
Where we couldn't share the IP address of the TeamSpeak, you know. So
Yeah.
for a single conversation that's annoying enough, you got to find some way to work around the censorship, and sometimes a trick that you used yesterday doesn't work the next day for some reason. So what I would start doing is I would name myself the TeamSpeak address, and then I would clone myself, and that's how people would get in. And then for some reason that stopped working, and when I named myself, it would hashtag my own name. So after that, I got so sick of it, and I made the video, and it really streamlined the whole process. I don't
And
know
that's
where
how
I
it
was
was
going with
born.
that.
Did you take part in the video Arconian Flow every day, bro?
I don't know
Oh,
what the hell
he
that
didn't.
is.
The everyday
You've never
Surge
seen the
parody.
video? Oh, what?
Surge
Okay,
parody.
so it's pretty much a Surge parody of Everyday Bro, and it was produced by
Oh, I heard
Bear-
that actually.
Berserk, One Shot,
Crazy Man, Shadow, and
Crazy Man, Shad, Inevitables.
Yeah,
Those are-
I was not in that at all.
That video is funny. I remember they were going around asking everyone, "Hey, like, do you want to help produce this video?" And even Jetwatch, you can even get on in this conversation, but because you might know more about the topic than I do when it comes to that video. But I was retired during that time, so I wouldn't know too much. Who's your favorite insurgent working with though? Working with as when you were a colonel.
Oh shit, man! I can tell you who my least favorite was, and he's not in Surge anymore, so I can say fucking Shadow.
Oh my god. I knew you
I
would
can
say
agree
that.
with you on that. Actually, that's
Holy
my least
shit.
favorite.
If I hadn't left for okay, I told Bubble this, but I haven't told anyone else this. Actually, I told the Imperator, and he fucking hated me for like a minute. Okay, so Shadow bothers me every fucking hour of the day, right? Every single day. And the day before I'm planning on leaving, I get a fucking sadistic mood, and I'm like, hey, Shadow, I just want you to know if I ever leave Surge, it's because of you. Okay? That's how hard you are to deal with. And then I left Surge the next day, and I fucking loved it.
I have chat logs with Zemrith about Shadow poking us to read applications, and we've had multiple occasions where we had to bring him into the Imperator's office and straighten him out, and it was just a nightmare. He would go completely crazy, and eventually it came to the point where he had to go because he just couldn't function in the group. Like you tell him to stop doing something and he won't listen. So those people have to go. But
Shadow, if you're listening to this, and if maybe a tear's rolling down that cheek, man, don't consider this us bullying you. Listen to what we're saying and see if you can work on this. Because, dude, you got no chill. You know what I mean? Like Bubble's saying it. People tell you to do one thing and you just can't stop. Actually, fuck it. I'm editing that out. That got a little too direct.
Shadow, if you're
you
listening, you almost got me exiled
So
twice.
you should put that moment of silence in. That way you could, whatever you want to put that moment of silence in, and just tell me when you're going to continue.
Shh. Shit, man. I accidentally stopped recording for like a second. Okay, what were you saying?
Oh, you're still going?
Yeah, we're still going. Wink,
Okay,
wink.
so we can talk about my favorite insurgents of all time. I'm gonna put all my best behaviors up there. He used to do all the formatting back when I was Supreme General. He would write, he'd write out all like the papers and stuff, everything I needed finished, like Tats Cobras when we ward them. He wrote all the documents. RSF when we ward them. Arcane Insurgency, Unification, all those groups when we ward them. Well, we were going to go against Orion Offensive and Bear. He wrote all those. He wrote the codex. He wrote the lore. He did all the shitty work that I didn't want to do. But he was really, he was, he fucked around. He had a good attitude to him. It's like he was easy to get along with. But he didn't do any like hard work like leading or maintaining activity. That was all dependent on me. Who would you say is your favorite then?
My favorite?
Or
I
one
guess
of
if
the
I had
favorites,
to
'cause-
name the first one off my head, my favorite's probably the former overseer of EOA, Crixon. He was pretty good to me as the superior, and I liked the jobs he gave me, and he and I worked closely on some things.
I never met Crixian, but that was when I was retired. But
Yeah,
apparently-
that's because he's so secret, dude.
I,
He's
I,
EOA.
I read up on him. I read he's like the rector of IAP. At one point, he was a general.
Well, yeah,
They
he was
even
just
have a
holding the
statue
rank
next-
for a little bit.
They have a statue of him, surprisingly.
Yeah, well,
Which
he was
was-
a good guy.
Which is my biggest thing though is coming back and late download being one of the not too important insurgents of all time comes back and all of a sudden who's taking over the Supreme General spot. I'm like, I can't wait to see this. I log on and I see it's late download. I'm like, what the fuck? Why is late download the Supreme General? So, because I remember him as the, he would come to the base and be active like on weekends, come to the base. And, when it came time for defending, he would just get in the plane and fly it. He wouldn't gunfight. All of a sudden, I come back and he's this amazing gunfighter, amazing leader. He's led a surge against Scomp to a 20-1 victory, which is probably one of the biggest blowouts we ever had, aside from
Oh, I
Tats
remember
Cobras.
that. I was there for that. That was so great.
The 20-1 blowout at a Fair City war zone. So it's not like the bases were uneven. That's a blowout.
It's
I've never-
literally a symmetrical landscape.
Yeah, it's a symmetrical landscape doing, one fort on one side, same thing is replicated on the other, just reversed. And you lead someone to a 20-1 victory, like Scomp didn't have any shot of beating us. And a lot of people like to discount mercenaries from groups too. So, when you go up a group against Surge or you go up VAC or Bear, groups that have a lot of hatred against them for all different reasons. I don't hate Surge, but a lot of people don't like top clans, especially including like TNI is really strong. So people want to take down like the top powers. So, you go against those and a lot of people discount mercenaries that can join the other group and help fight, the most infamous mercenaries of all time.
Yeah,
you
dude,
could
that's
say,
why
like-
before shit like that, I'm always sent in to record all of the people and like all of the ranks, at least like the first 10 pages of each rank. That way we know if they've got any mercenaries.
Well, my favorite thing to do is actually to let the mercenaries come in. I've been a big fan of letting them come in because mercenaries tend to destroy groups. People really don't look at it like this, but you get mercenaries in and place them in instead of your regular gunfighters. Eventually, those mercenaries aren't loyal to you. They're just there for the war. If you can annoy the other side enough and you can annoy the opposition to the point where the mercenaries leave, and then the regular gunfighters aren't going to really want to fight because they had other like mercenaries chosen over them, and it leads the whole group into some internal chaos where of course, if you can't, then you might have an issue. But mercenaries can seriously work against the group in the long run as much as it could help in the short run. So I've never been a fan of using mercenaries. One I did against the RA war when FOA people would come in, Reversenal being one of the big names. Oh, B-Baller, one of the FOA owners actually. Dystra even came in, but that and it ended up hurting us in the long run because they all left, so it didn't even matter. I mean, I never use mercenaries now for that reason. You got to continue.
Yeah. Okay. Is the guy back? Is Rush back?
No, he's been gone for a little while.
All right. So I had like a vague idea of what I wanted to talk about. Since it's just us here, since it's just big boys with big pants who've done big things, why don't you tell me, Bubble? Shit. I need to think of something. Uh, what's something that only we could talk about right now?
Between you and me, or between?
Like something that only a discussion that only you and I could have. Well, never mind. Rush is back.
Well, yeah, he came
Hello.
back, but I mean, we could talk about like you as a low rank actually, because I do remember you as a low rank back when
Right. I remember you've got some
you were
interesting
actually
things
really
to say.
critical of me. And I remember I thought that was the coolest thing because
Wait, hold on. I was talking over you. What?
Because I remember I've never really been criticized as Supreme General. What kind of low rank is going to come up to me and just tell me how I'm doing? And that one day that you texted me and you said, "Hey, like, I don't like how your leading is," and I was like, "Damn, I'm like this guy's really got some guts." So I didn't take any action. I was less of a rules following leader as much as I was just practical leader. Whatever came up, and I would deal with it in however what fashion I felt was correct. So if someone broke rules and didn't use grammar, but I didn't know them that well and they were doing it like a wuss, I would kick them or ban them. But if somebody does it with like pride or their reasoning behind it, I'm always been a fan of stand up for what you believe in. It's always what I've trained the new IAPs to do, and it's why a lot of the new IAPs that ended up following me in my footsteps and joining the divisions I've been in now, you're talking, are now captains and like EOA members in Surge. I mean, I could just go through a few, like Cal getting captain, helping to reform the GMT era with Inva. That's a big one. Dakota being one of the big names. He used to help me a lot when I opened the recruitment team for Surge, and now he's ended up like EOA. He's private first class now. Warspell too, being one of the big names. I could go on and on through the list, but there's a lot of people that just, if you fight for what you believe in truly, then you can really move up. That's more important than just following rules, I think.
Okay, let me tell you how exactly the opposite I am. So people, when I was a colonel, right? Actually, no, I was a major. So I was a major at the time, and people were being absolute fucking retards in some situation. I don't know, but it was on duty, and I knew that they needed to be punished, but I was hardcore searching through the codex for a rule that they were breaking, and I couldn't find one. They were just being generally fucking retarded and obnoxious, but without breaking any rules. So I'm like, shit, I can't touch you. You're beyond my reach right now. And then the Imperator pulls me aside and is like, you're being a fucking retard. They're being retards. You need to smack their shit. I'm like, I can't. You didn't make a rule about this. And he's like, don't be a fucking rule-following pussy. You need to enforce my shit, okay? Even if there's not a rule against it, if someone's being a retard, you gotta, smack them up. I'm like, okay, fine. So yeah, that's how not free thinking I can be. I will only maintain order if there's a rule specifically for that situation sometimes.
Well, I think a lot of how high rank leads can come from how they've been brought up, like before they come into the group. Because I came from a group where, in the Rain Empire, where a lot of it was just, I had to make most of the decisions. We were an 80-man group, so there weren't too many rules to follow. So coming from that kind of background, I used to make all the decisions, being one of the high-ranking officials there. So that translated over to Surge. When I came into Surge, I've always had like I wouldn't want to say controlling, but I've always had an aggressive alpha attitude towards everything I did. So I didn't want to, stand behind while someone else commands me. I never believed in being commanded. I always believe in commanding. Even if you're low rank, I feel like you can command someone. But back onto the fact with, how you brought up some groups, people that their first group is VAC, they're back in controlling environments where, the high ranks have a hand over what you do, and you can't fuck around. So you have to follow orders or get blasted out, and that's why a lot of people from VAC don't succeed in other groups. That's why you see a lot of people, especially like you can even say like all the way up to like you can say like the HighCom, the biggest example. You talk about Hunter 777 has never really been outside of VAC. Viet Mayani's never been outside of VAC. Bishow's always been VAC. None of those guys have ever been successful in other groups. They have the power, they have the resources, but a lot of it, a lot of it is the mindset and just how they're stuck in that, I need to be controlled, and I'm a high rank in VAC, and VAC the same as the Imperator doesn't let anyone else, doesn't let a lot of people, especially the high ranks, join other groups and become loyal to them, because that creates a bad rep for Surge, because that means inactive, unloyal high ranks, and that can destroy a whole system. Let's talk about who's your favorite high rank that got promoted.
Sorry, Bubble. I'm sorry I'm kind of making you like run this on your own. I'm balancing you with writing the lore, so thank you for taking over.
Oh, believe me, it's fine. I love communications. I'm a really good talker.
Yeah, I know. You like to talk a lot. I'm fucking.
I'm assuming that you have it like cut off now, the recording part.
Oh no, I have not cut off.
Okay, so we'll just continue. A topic I want to touch on that a lot of people don't know about is Gardibass, actually. When he got promoted to general, I remember.
Who doesn't know about Gardibass? He's got like a fucking cult following.
Oh yeah, everyone knows who Gardibass is, the king of Bricktops, all that. But nobody really knows his story of how he rose to power in Surge. Because you take someone that's Gardibass, you could say a year ago. We'll go a year or two ago, and Gardibass had no. Oh, my bad.
You remember? Okay, so you brought up how I like criticized the shit out of you, right?
Okay.
That was an LR?
Yeah.
I did the same fucking thing to Gardibass in like the middle of a training. No. It was in the middle of a training, and then he and I got pulled into the Imperator's office with a bunch of fucking high command, and I just like picked him apart in front of them. Like sir, you're not training me to do anything. All you're doing is shouting at me when I have bad aim and telling me to get good. I need you to tell me something other than aimbot. Tell me how to improve my camera placement. Tell me how to communicate better with my team rather than just shouting get good and then telling me to leave when I fail to get good. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Low rank criticism is a big thing. You have high ranks running around that aren't so guided. You see it. You go to school and you ask your teacher, and your teacher ever asks you, I need your feedback on this because I don't know if I'm teaching you correctly. That same thing could be said with high ranks, because without low rank, criticism, and it's necessary for the growth of a high rank and for the growth of a group in total, because Gardibass transformed into one of the most amazing high rank Surges ever had. And about a year or two ago, that you're talking about a raw prospect that used to go into RCL scrimmages with really like no discipline, and all was mainly just a gunfighter with really mercenary blah blah blah. He's
Gardibass is definitely a rare gem. It's rare I see someone like him display such discipline and such loyalty.
Well, a lot of it is his rise to power in Surge. Like no one knew that Gardibass would come into Surge and become a general. That's sure just unexpected.
Didn't. I remember when he was a major, and I'm like, dude, this kid, he's a 13-year-old kid. He's gonna do something fucking stupid and leave the group. But no, it didn't happen. He just kept fucking going.
Well, a lot of that could be, a lot of his success can also be piggybacked on the Imperator. The Imperator pretty much guided him and told him, hey, how to shape himself up. The Imperator is one of the smartest people I've ever worked with on here. Believe it or not.
Yeah, he's definitely smart.
Even at points when I used to teach him a lot of stuff back in this reform era. Now he's begun to teach me such and stuff that I would never expect to come out of his mouth. He's really actually like a genius, to put it in those words. But Gardibass, eventually the Imperator just kept training him and telling him what's right and wrong. He put all of his trust in him, made him a raid leader at a low rank, and prioritized him to make him a better prospect. And a lot of your criticism that day could have improved him way better than if you were to just keep hosting or had like an extra month of experience. It's the small things that really count, and I think we discount how you can change someone in a group Like not
Yeah.
everyone is destined to become, a super good high rank, but if you train them and you just keep working with the same person, you instill belief in them instead of punishing them, then you could really get a real gem out of them, especially like Gardy Bass.
Yeah, back at ISA when it fucking fell apart and Civic like cucked Marshall like he did, and Marshall was leaving to do whatever. I don't even remember what he was doing, but there was like a time when there was gonna be a second ISA. Do you remember like there was 3 groups of people, Civic and his ISA, some other people, I think his name was Nero or something, making a new ISA, and then Marshall doing I don't even remember what. You remember that?
At that time, that was when I was retired. I was actually mad at the Imperator at that time. I didn't like him. I didn't like anyone in ISA. So at that time, I was nowhere to be found. I didn't pay attention in ISA. That's my most hated era of all of them.
Okay, well, here's what happened between me and the Imperator then. The Imperator wanted me to come with him after the ISA debacle, and I told him that I view the high command as a reflection on the leader and his repeated inability to establish a functional, reliable high command. In Surge during the Reform era, his high command fell apart, and clearly his high command was not on his side this time. I that damaged my respect for him at the time, and I'm like, I don't want to associate myself with you. You clearly can't make a group of people respect you and work with you. So I didn't go with him after that. But I can clearly see, if no one else, Gardabass definitely reflects beautifully on the Imperator as a leader and as a mentor.
And you could even go as far as say Dark Download when his promotion came up.
Dude, Dark and I were like moving up at the same time together. It was weird.
Yeah,
like
Dark
Marshall was like, okay, just so you know, you and Dark, you're basically always going to be the same rank, and you and him are going to become generals at the same time. Anyway, go on.
Dark was just like Guard, maybe not in the exact same way, but he has pretty much the same story. I remember I would get days where, and I know Dark's going to kill me for saying this, but he asked me for, like, how do I host my trainings and stuff. Now I know if, Dark's not going to want to let anyone know about this, but, it's good to ask for advice sometimes.
Hey, don't worry, man. No one watches these.
Yeah, I know, believe me.
How many views
Just fun
did you
to
get
talk
the
about.
last Profcast, the one with Cyber and stuff?
What?
How many views did you get the last one?
I don't
the
know.
one with
I'll
Cyber?
check. Probably like 30 at most.
That's probably people just clicking for like a minute. But yeah, we can talk about, I guess you could talk about Dark and how his career was, he used to ask me for advice on how to host, which was taboo to me because I didn't even know who he was at the time. But I was surprised. I'm like, hey, this is a real potentially good high rank. And he was a colonel at the time, but really new and inexperienced. Didn't have really any guidance. Eventually,
50 views. My first Profcast has 4 views. My 4th Profcast has 50.
moving up in the world. But yeah, I mean, after a while, Dark grew up and, he started guiding himself and not having other people guide him. And
all right.
that's one of the biggest things is fighting yourself. Fighting yourself is more important than being able to be led by someone else. Because then you can go on to create your own things. Like, I came into Surge and as a private and unretired, and I created, the most effective division. What I don't want to put myself on a high pedestal here, but I created one of the most effective divisions Surge has ever opened. We closed it in 1 month, and it did the work that almost every other division has done within years' time. This division being Archon Recruitment Team, opening up, opening up a whole division just devoted to bringing new people into Surge. That was a really important thing. And then we're talking about like a grave era, like all the high ranks left. Every high rank was leaving. The lower ranks were leaving with the high ranks to join back. And Surge hits an all-time low of 70 members or something like that, really low. So I said, I'm like, we got to stop this. So I opened the group and bam, start hiring people, operators. And some of the operators, Danny, he's in EOA right now. Dakota, like I said before. Sidon, Sidon is a case, but I can't talk about him because he's right now he's not in Surge, but he's a good kid. But uh, this group started being really really active, and people would dedicate their time to just solely recruiting. And this is a prototype. No one's ever launched a recruitment group like this, where you just hand to hand, face to face, talking about recruitment and getting into Surge. And this group, this division just bursted. It
Tell
exploded.
me a bit about how this division worked, because I was in it, but I left before it did the big work you're talking about. Tell me about how you got this division to do the work that it did.
Well, the biggest thing was that art art as a division, it wasn't even meant to become a recruitment. It was meant to, it was meant to be a recruitment still, but it meant to have a whole other purpose. How it came to hand that it did is Surge was desperately dying, and I needed to find the fastest way to get members into Surge. So I would send my operators out on missions I would send them usernames of people to recruit, people to talk to on Discord, and they would have to talk to them on Discord. They wouldn't send them peon bot messages. They would actually start saying hello. This is changing the whole game. This is something no one's ever done. I mean, not to sound like some all-star, like this isn't, anything crazy, but it's a video game, but
Human interaction. What the fuck, man? Whoever knew. It's almost like people were meant to take a walk out in nature sometimes and talk to each other and not be shut up in their little wooden caves with their plastic screens.
Yeah, I mean, this is a game changer though. Like no one's ever done this. So everyone in the group, I'm telling them, I'm trying to keep morale open, because that's a big thing. While you're running a recruitment group, these people aren't getting uniforms, they're not getting funds, they're not getting a reward for it. They're just getting recognition, and that's it. And that's not a lot sometimes. So I'm going to keep the thing about morale and reviving Surge and crazy things that we're going to do that sadly I can't promise, but some actually came true, and it was unbelievable. Eventually we start hitting 20 members of Rally and start arts test with reviving the GMT community that was recently ran by Century Sense, who still runs it now. And the big names, you want to talk One Shot, Blocks, Chris. I don't know about Crixie, and I think he might have been GMT, but I'm not sure. But Chris and One Shot used to lead GMT, and they're dead, so they're gone now. So I need to get new HR. So I've been tasked with all this shit to do for Surge, and all of a sudden I'm getting promoted to captain out of nowhere, promoted to major, and these are two things I would have never expected, because personally myself, I don't want the responsibility. I just wanted to lead a recruitment group, and all of a sudden I'm changing Surge again. Like I've changed it in the Reformer. I'm literally leading this crazy thing, this crazy revolutionary idea to bring Surge to the top. And I never thought I would do it after the first time, and I'm coming back a second time to completely revive Surge. And the clan Discord started talking about Surge Rally exceeds expectations, and with 58 members. And I realized, I'm like, holy shit, I'm like, we're huge again. I'm like, Surge is one of the top groups, and you're getting big name fighters in, that's not important, but big name fighters started joining. IAP jumped up to an all-time high of 240 members, and we're flooded. So I decided, I'm like, I'm done. I can't keep playing on here, because personally it takes a toll on your real physical life, and not mentally so much, but physically. Like I gained a lot of weight from helping out Surge in that small amount of time.
Totally, it really does. Honestly, working for Surge helped me a lot mentally about half a year ago, but it definitely left me no time for taking care of myself, and that's something I'm going to make sure doesn't happen this time. Is I'm always going to make my time for me to do my exercises in the morning, for me to eat right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a lot of great leaders miss that. Taking care of your entire body. It's not just about leading a group or being part of an organization. It's about caring for loving yourself too. You got to love yourself before you love something else.
Yeah.
So you got to make sure everything's organized. You got to be in complete state of mind where I'm going to do this. I'm going to study now. I'm going to eat now. I'm going to work out now, and then I'm going to come and help my group. That Surge. I mean, I love this group. As corny as that sounds, I actually, for some reason, love this group. And I would never thought I would ever say this. I thought I'd be a clan hopper forever, but you sit down, you find the group that you like, and you know, you get to fuck around on TeamSpeak when you just come on and you can retire and have your name known.
Yeah, I love Surge too, honestly. Like, I wouldn't have come back if there wasn't a big part of me that wanted to. And before I left, I thought there would never come a day when I'd leave. I couldn't imagine a thing that would make me leave. But, where am I going with this? Right, yeah. Surge is definitely a thing worth loving, and you brought up how you don't want the responsibility, and I think of it the same similarly, but it's not that the responsibility is something that I dislike. It's just that I feel no drive for having a high rank. In fact, I've said before that you could keep me as a private forever and it wouldn't bother me. I don't have any desire for authority. When I receive authority or when I receive honors, I don't consider them things that I've earned. I've considered them tools provided to me so that I may better serve the group. And another thing you brought up is loving yourself before you can love something else. And that's a message I've been trying to help a few close friends of mine with. Some people think that loving yourself and taking good care of yourself is somehow selfish, and that like you need to have somebody else that you're utterly dedicated to every day. And to people who think that way, I gotta say, no, man. You gotta maintain yourself, because there are gonna be days when you have nobody to love, and if you don't know how to love yourself during that time, you're gonna be kind of empty, and it's gonna be kind of hell. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I mean, I for one suffered the consequences of not loving myself. Um, I wouldn't blame this site for it. I would blame other things, overworking.
Hold on. Rush. You're still here, right?
Nope.
I'm sorry, we haven't really been including you in the conversation. You got anything you've wanted to say?
Nah, that's fine. I like listening to you guys.
All right, you want us to just keep talking?
I'm busy RCLing right now, so.
Okay, so yeah, we'll just keep talking. Go on, Bubble.
Well, we can continue on this conversation, but I'm going to bring up the conversation in a bit. But I'm one who reaped the consequences of not loving myself. I'm not going to blame this site for it. I can blame a lot of it from school, overworking, and a lot of the big thing was just organization. Like I said before, I didn't organize myself, so I would come on, I would play for too long, and I would end up staying till like 4 a.m. to study, or then I'd have work tomorrow at 8 a.m. and then have school and then do it all again. But find no time for sleep and start falling asleep at like 2 p.m. in the afternoon. And eventually, after organizing my time, like I do the same exact stuff, but I do it, more efficiently. I get my homework done on time, and I have time to, relax and hang out with my friends. That's a big thing I missed. But I want to talk about gunfighting as a whole and how it's been like revolutionized as the years have gone by. Groups, big name groups, talking back from when I was around, because I can't talk before I was around. I wouldn't have any credibility to speak about
Wait,
it.
how long have you been around, by the way? For anyone who doesn't know, I've been around since 2008, 2009. What about you, Bubble?
Well, I created this account in 2009, but I didn't use it. What happened was one day I logged on and I saw the group page. I thought it was pretty cool. So I saw some war groups and I started my journey around like to the summer of 2015, but I didn't really get around into
Oh shit!
war
So you're
groups.
kind of new, man.
Yeah, that's a thing that people never knew about me, as being like a new leader. Like I was one of the most rookie people you could have in your high
You're a
com
fucking
or in
prodigy.
your group in general. And people always miss that. My journey, I guess you could say, started when I joined EE around in like October of 2015. Like I was late 2015. A lot of my prime was back in 2016 around getting back into gunfighting. Gunfighting changed so much. I mean, groups like the Clockwork Corporation are not around. Electro Legion's gone. Sonic Forces Void, RAA, UCR is. I mean, UCR is still around, but you don't hear about them anymore. No, sorry, UCR fans. But I want to talk about Sonic Forces and RAA being dominant groups back then. I mean, those two, you knew, if you're defending and those one of those guys are coming at your fort, you're doomed. That's it. There's no way you're going to be able to withstand. There's too many groups, and the thing back then is there were too many groups. So, all the good fighters would go to flock to one group, and they'll leave the rest of us with average people, and that's where a lot of my morals came from, with relying on loyalty and stuff like that. Loyalty, just being there for your guys, because we knew we couldn't get the good gunfighters. So we started making a self-sufficient insurgents where we wouldn't have to worry about warring the outside world, because at the time, Surge was too good to war the bad groups and too bad to war the good groups. So we're stuck right in the shitty middle. So, when it came to war, options were like Void, SF, RA, like I said before, Sapphire Military, big fucking, even CSP was around at the time. And there was no fucking way I was going to war those guys. I would have lost. And you can even say ASOV at one point was pretty dominant. They weren't the most dominant group, but you're talking about 2016 when, only like a select 10 groups ruled the whole CNG world. And now, there's how many groups left? There's not even you can't even name 20 off the top of your head. I mean, what is it now? Is the big three are Surge, VAC, and TNI. And VAC's, I'm not sure how they're doing. I've heard they've been actually keeping up, and they're one of the most underestimated groups currently. They have they're really active, but you'll come on, you ask someone how's VAC, and they're gonna say they're dying, but they're clearly not. They have 150 members that are active. Not all of them, because there's about 40 in the retired rank. But they have 150 something members that are, active in VAC, and that's excluding VAC, the whole filter group. That and those guys are really active. And if you want to talk about VAC, I mean, that's where a lot of my morals came for Surge, where it was grown. Surge came from. I always figured, if we're not the best, the only way to become the best is to follow the best, to follow the ideologies of the best. So a lot of what we did for Surge did come from VAC, and a lot of people are always going to say Surge copied VAC, and it's one of the biggest things that we've always been criticized for. But you know what? Fuck it.
That's not a criticism. When you see someone doing something smart, the logical thing to do is follow suit and see if you can do it better than them. And I think we're doing it better than them.
That was the biggest thing. It's always doing it better, because I saw what VAC did. I saw the filter groups. I saw it all. I saw how they had the laws and how the laws would create, obedience and bring people in, and people would be hyped up. It wasn't hype, but it was, people wanted to join. Some groups are, considered hype clans and, getting a lot of members. But, when you're doing something different compared to every other group, you're pretty much becoming a hype clan, but no one's going to criticize you for it. Not so much the filter group, but calling each other we're not comrade, but going up to each other and saying private, whatever, or major, whatever, using sir for high ranks, and for real, not fear or rat where they say you have to do it but you don't. And a lot of groups don't enforce their codex.
Oh, were you there for that training I attended yesterday?
No, I was not. I was out somewhere.
I was tabbed out in the middle of the training, but I saw someone out of the corner of my eye jump in game, so I thought that there was an AFK test and we had to jump to show that we were not AFK. Turns out it was jump to say that you want to lead one of the teams. So I jump and then I quickly tab out, and people are expecting me to get in line, right, to be captain of the defender team. It was a weird protect the leader kind of thing. So when I realized people are wanting me to get into that position, I move. And then they're like, okay, now pick someone for your team. And I'm like, and I pick out Sentry. His name is Sent now. I'm like, Sent. I just say Sent. And what do you think happened?
10, you're so used to, just being up there. And now that you're down.
Yeah. But I honestly, I was completely unaware that Sentry... I remember he was a high rank when I was here, but I forgot that he was a high rank, and I did know that he's a colonel. So, they're like, Prof, Law 10, you got to call him by his rank. I'm like, oh, shit. I'm looking back and forth between Gardabass and whoever was hosting the training. I'm like, help me, please. I don't know his rank, but I didn't want to say that out loud. And they're like, you going to say his name? And I'm like, shit. Excuse me, sir, what is your rank? And so that was a really awkward time. And then I picked Justin for my second person. And I'm like, excuse me, Justin, sir, what is your rank? I'm like, oh, I'm major or whatever it was. And so, yeah, that's my little story. You keep going, man.
Oh, I'll just pause right here real quick. What are we talking about? Oh, God.
Well, I started talking about something no one cares about, Law 10.
Oh, well, yeah, when you come back from not being in Surge for so long, and this could be, no, a lot of people won't understand me when I talk about this, but if you're from VAC or any group that doesn't enforce their codex, then you know what I mean when you come back and you break the laws and like you forget that they were laws, or you forget someone's a high rank. Like I remember coming back and seeing a whole bunch of people that were HR. I had a training where I yelled at Guardy Bass. I actually told him to show up in the middle of a training. I didn't know he was a general or that I could get kicked for doing that. So I ended up getting banned from the TeamSpeak. And immediately, this is instinct. So I'm running. I ran over to Marshall. I'm like, hey, like, you know, I said, hey, this asshole banned me. And I don't think of him as an asshole now, but back then I was like, you know,
I used to fucking hate the shit out of Guard, honestly. He was my
Oh.
least favorite HR for a long time.
oh yeah, but he's developed and become probably one of the best, if believe it or not. He can really, and his composure is the biggest thing. Is he has like he'll talk and like on TeamSpeak or whatever, and he'll stay on duty. That's the biggest one. Like
Yeah, he's actually really calm.
no, but like he's the biggest enforcer of the on duty law 14.
Oh,
He's really big on that. Like
you know
he's one of the
something you
only-
were talking about, Dark and I, right? You know how I said that I'm like anal retentive when it comes to the laws? Well, actually, Dark is like a lot more hard ass on the laws than I was. I remember, like, whenever someone was having a problem with Dark or whenever someone needed the laws enforced, they would try to come to me instead of Dark because Dark seemed to be like a lot more strict with the laws. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'm a lot more chill, you know?
Well, the thing about that is he's not doing a bad job with that. You do need someone that you can run to, but people have to follow the laws.
Yeah, totally. But what I'm
He
saying
does-
is
he
like
does what
what
we
we
don't
kind
want
of
to do. He's
developed.
actually doing the harder job with following the laws completely and enforcing them strictly. And a lot of people don't look at it like that, but that's really necessary for a HICOM, especially one like the Imperial Insurgents. You have to have some high ranks that are a little more lenient, so you have someone to talk to. But at the same time, you need to have that guy that will straighten you out. And Dark can really be the role player as that guy.
Yeah,
Um,
totally.
I
You and I
want
kind
to
of developed
discuss
a good cop,
what-
bad cop relationship.
Oh yeah, but I want to discuss the new rising stars that we have in Surge before we dismiss this conversation. So recently, there's a whole bunch of people being promoted to sergeant, lieutenant, and captain, and these are the primary ranks for you've made it in the Surge. I guess if you want to say it, you have more responsibility now. Now you're controlling the same people that you used to listen to, pretty much. Not necessarily everyone, but so I guess we could start off with talking about Draintix, one of the newest. Well, it is the newest captain. Excuse me, he's the newest captain that we have. Draintix, I remember, came into Surge as an IAP, and as I thought with Guard, I said, new guy, good gunfighter. I'll see you out in like a week. He'll be gone. So I didn't pay any attention to him. And I see he stays and he gets S2, S3, and eventually I talked to him. I'm like, hey, I gave him like some inspirational stuff about like why, like, hey, it's good to know you're actually here and you're trying to actually make a difference. Not too many people that are good gunfighters actually stay. I'm not saying that I value good gunfighters over anyone that's bad gunfighter. I value loyalty over anything, but the fact that just to see it is taboo compared to anything else. Him as a captain has become possibly the best leader I've ever seen in leading raids. He's possibly the best leader I've ever seen, undisputed compared to all time raid list. Draintic, maybe like Sinoan next. You can even go as far as say NBK or Paul after that, and then it all depends on who that's his personal favorites. But him, Draintic is our newest captain. Ramsey's or JT download is a lot of people would know him. He's been moved up to lieutenant, and he's one of the biggest rising stars that we have. He's he's been in Surge for a while, and he's on his route to get captain. A lot of the high com have discussed it together about, his efforts in Surge. He's made a lot more efforts and hasn't really broken any laws. He's, funny. He gets along with the whole community. And he does his shit. So I think people like that, and he's an open-minded thinker too. That's the most important thing. And I'll go over one more, and then that'll be it. Not like we have anyone that's, not like any sergeants are devoted to becoming high ranks again or high ranks at all. But I want to talk about ban list. That's another one with gunfighting, I guess you could say. He came in. I didn't expect him to take it seriously. I'm the one that actually texted him. I said, hey, I'm like, how about you join IAP and give it a chance. He did, and it's probably the best person I've recruited in a while. He's been an all-star. He's been featured in like the new codex and everything, in the officer codex actually, for if you want to look for a role model insurgent, look towards ban list. And if he were to try to move up the ranks, I'm pretty sure the Imperator would give him some leeway. Shout out to Rush Rogue too. He's been really, he's been really solid.
Rush Rogue, that guy's a total faggot. I love you, Rush.
I mean, he's good. You go into chat with him and make some funny shit about how corrupt I am in Surge. No one heard that. I'm just kidding. I'm not corrupt. But he's been in Surge for a while. I mean, he could move up.
Define
too.
corrupt.
Corrupt is when you break laws. Like you fuck around and you don't.
When I hear
care.
corrupt, I think that means your interests are not in the well-being of Surge. And Bubble, I could say a lot of things about you, but your interests are definitely aligned with Surge.
That's the biggest thing, is I will always do whatever I think is best for this group. Rush Rogue has potential to get up there to lieutenant and even move forward. I spoke with him. He doesn't want to actually move up though, and I see why a lot of people don't want to. I didn't even want to move up, but I was just selected for this high rank position. I'll carry out whatever is needed. And ladies and gentlemen, that's all I have to say. How about you, Prof?
Rush Rogue has something to say. I know Bubble is corrupt because he blacklisted gay people. Bubble, did you really?
That was back in the Reform era. I don't want to go too in depth on this, but it's not that I hate gay people, but I had a thing against it for a while because I was. All right, look.
No, go ahead. Keep going.
I love all people, but I was being harassed a whole bunch of times, and a whole bunch of other Surge members too. And there were 2 gay people that joined Surge, and on a serious note, they joined Surge, and that was completely fine. I don't care if you're gay, I don't care if you're white, black, whatever you want to be, but they joined Surge, and they started harassing people about they would make like dick jokes and stuff. So eventually, they left. And eventually I had to kick them. I had enough of them. And another person joined and did the same thing. So I just decided, I'm like, you know what, I have to do it. And
and so you said no more gay people.
It wasn't an official blacklist, but because that would never ever pass through the Imperator. But if you were, and I heard you harassing people, and if I got one complaint, I would just boot them. Because I didn't want people to get and same with squeakers too. I mean, you could say, but that's all I have to say for that topic. That's a pretty sensitive topic, and a lot of people would view me in a different way if they ever heard about that.
So, what I want to say about that, because I feel like I need to make a comment. I believe there are no bad people. There are only bad ideas. Homophobia, I consider a bad idea. Homophobes are not bad people. They're just people with a bad idea. So, everyone has bad ideas sometimes. Everyone acts like a fucking shithead. Everyone's done something bad. There's a lot worse things you can be than a homophobe or a racist. And Bubble, at least you weren't sacrificing babies. That's all I can say. You're better than Hitler, Bubble.
That's a step.
Shit, this video is going to get red $signs now because I said Hitler.
Well, I think that's all for tonight actually.
All right. Thank you everyone for joining me for this Profcast. Thank you, Rush, for being the most vocal of us.
And thank you, Bubble, for taking over for a great portion of it while I write nonsense.
Oh yeah, no problem.
All right, I'll see you all next time, whenever that might be, probably soon, because a theme I notice is when I'm in Surge, I tend to do these more often. Goodbye.